Let me tell you something up front. There are some lessons in life that will not wait for you to be ready. They won't ask for your permission. They show up as failure, heartbreak, regret, and by the time you finally understand them, the cost is already paid. You see, the most powerful lessons in life don't come wrapped in comfort. They come wrapped in pain, in silence, in moments when no one is watching and you're left alone with your thoughts asking, how did I get here? The first lesson, time is not unlimited. Most people treat time like they'll get a refund. They waste it on people who don't care, jobs they hate, distractions that give them nothing back, and suddenly 10 years are gone. You blink and your future becomes your past. The tragedy? You think you have more time, but you don't. Not a single second is guaranteed. And if you don't use it with purpose, someone else will use it for you. The rest is unknowable, and you will resent them for it, when really you said yes to their priorities and said no to your own. The second truth is that people come and go, but your growth is your responsibility. Some people were only meant to be a chapter, not the whole book. Stop trying to make temporary people permanent. Stop shrinking yourself to fit into old rooms you've outgrown. Let them go. You're not meant to drag everyone with you. Your peace, your clarity, your momentum. They come from alignment, not attachment. Next, waiting for the perfect moment is the greatest thief of dreams. You think you need more preparation, more knowledge, more resources. That's a lie. You don't need perfect. You need courage. You'll never feel ready. Action creates readiness. Stop sitting in the classroom of your life without ever stepping into the field. You learn by doing. While others are still overthinking, you're already adapting, learning, moving. Then there's the truth about your mind. Your mindset is your operating system. If it's full of limitations, negativity, self-doubt, you'll sabotage every opportunity. Your mind must work for you, not against you. You've got to program it daily, feed it purpose, vision, gratitude, rewire your focus, because where your focus goes, your energy flows. And where your energy flows, that's what grows. Let's talk about pain. Nobody wants it. Everyone runs from it. But let me tell you, pain is not your enemy. It's your messenger. It tells you what needs to be healed, where you're not aligned, what patterns you need to break. Pain is not punishment, it's information. And those who avoid it stay stuck. But those who face it, feel it, and learn from it, they rise. And one of the hardest pills to swallow, no one owes you anything. Not love, not opportunity, not success. This world rewards value. It doesn't care about your excuses. If you want more, become more. If you want respect, earn it. Don't wait to be chosen. Choose yourself. Build yourself into someone who doesn't need to beg for a seat at the table. You build your own damn table. If you want to be better, if you want more respect, earn it. Don't wait to be chosen. You build your own damn table. And maybe the last lesson is this. You already know what needs to change. Deep down, you do. You don't need more advice. You need to make a decision. Because clarity comes from commitment. You're not lost. You're just disconnected from your power. Reclaim it. Because if you wait to learn these lessons on life's terms, it'll be too late. But if you choose to learn them now, you don't just change your life, you change your future. Forever time is the one currency we all have in equal measure, yet almost everyone spends it like it's infinite. And by the time they realize the truth, it's too late. You hear it all the time. I'll do it tomorrow. I still have time. But let me tell you something. There will come a moment when you wake up and realize you don't. When I put my decisions in the rearview mirror, I can see that there is 100% that you can do. You'll look back and see a trail of chances you didn't take, dreams you never pursued, relationships you didn't nurture, and a version of you that never got built because you thought you had more time. The problem is, we are conditioned to believe that life moves slowly. that there's always next week, next year, next time. But time doesn't wait for motivation. It doesn't wait for your fear to pass. It doesn't wait for you to be ready. It just moves quietly, unforgivingly. Seconds turn to minutes, minutes to hours, hours to days. And without even realizing it, years pass by. You stay in the job you hate. You tolerate the relationship that drains you. You put off the business you wanted to start. You keep saying one day while life is screaming now. You don't notice how fast time is moving until something shakes you. A loss, a breakdown, a birthday that makes you question where all the years went. And in that moment, you realize that the only real luxury you ever had was time. And you blew it, thinking you'd always have more. The brutal truth is this: life doesn't care about your intentions. It only rewards your decisions. So many people confuse being busy with being productive. They fill their days with distractions, scrolling, overthinking, entertaining nonsense, and convince themselves they're doing something. But activity is not achievement. Motion is not progress. You can be spinning your wheels for years and still be in the same place. Look around you. How many people do you know who had dreams 5 years ago? And today, they're still just talking about them. Still planning, still waiting, still thinking it through. Time doesn't pause for people like that. And the danger? The longer you wait, the more your excuses harden into beliefs. You start saying, maybe it's not for me, or maybe I'm too old, or maybe that door is closed. No, the door didn't close. You stopped walking toward it. And don't get it twisted. This isn't about hustling 24/7 or running yourself into the ground. It's about intention. Are you living by design or just drifting? Because if you don't have a clear direction for your life, life will decide for you. And most of the time, it won't take you where you want to go. One of the most painful things to witness is someone looking back on their life with regret. Not because of what they did, but because of what they didn't do. They played it safe. They waited for certainty. They let time pass because they were afraid of failing. But let me ask you this: what's more painful, failing once or living with the knowledge that you never even tried? You don't get to choose how much time you have, but you do get to choose how you use it. Every day is a vote for your future. Every hour is a brick. You're either building something that matters, or you're wasting time building someone else's dream while yours collects dust. And eventually, life will call your bluff. Time will run out. And the saddest part, you won't get a warning. You won't get a second shot. You'll just look up and realize the opportunity is gone. The real tragedy isn't running out of time. The real tragedy is not respecting it when you had it. Because if you truly understood the value of a single minute, you'd stop wasting entire days. You'd stop giving your energy to things that don't grow you. You'd stop waiting for the perfect moment and start creating meaningful moments. You'd show up differently, not because you're afraid of dying, but because you're finally ready to start living. And that shift, that's when everything changes. When you start treating time as sacred. When you wake up and realize that every second you waste is a second you'll never get back. That's when you stop existing and start living with urgency, clarity, and purpose. Not someday, today. One of the hardest things you'll ever have to learn in life is that not everyone is meant to go where you're going. People will come into your life. Some will walk with you for years. Some will leave without warning. Some will help you grow and others will hold you back. And the mistake we all make, especially when we care, is thinking we can keep everyone, thinking we can grow and still drag people with us who are no longer aligned with who we're becoming. But the truth is, growth is deeply personal. It's uncomfortable. It's messy. And not everyone is willing to do the inner work it takes to evolve. When you begin to rise, when you start working on yourself, when you stop settling, when you start aiming higher, you begin to disrupt the comfort zones of the people around you. And not everyone is going to cheer you on. Some will question you. Some will distance themselves. Others will try to guilt you back into the old version of yourself just so they can feel more comfortable. And in those moments, you have to make a choice. Do you shrink yourself to keep the peace? Or do you honor your evolution? Too many people sacrifice their growth because they're afraid of being alone. They stay in circles that drain them. They hold on to friendships that have expired. They keep proving themselves to people who don't even see their value. Why? Because they're scared of walking the path alone. But let me tell you something. Your path is not supposed to be crowded. It's supposed to be clear. You're going to outgrow people. And that's not betrayal, that's life. You're not better than them. You're just different now. Your values shift. Your boundaries become stronger. What once felt like home now feels like a cage. And you can't evolve in a cage built by old versions of you. So stop feeling guilty for choosing your peace over their approval. Stop apologizing for growing into someone they no longer recognize. That's not your responsibility. The people who are meant for your next level will meet you there. They won't need you to dim your light just so they can shine. They won't get uncomfortable when you speak your truth. They won't flinch when you demand more from yourself. In fact, they'll inspire you to go even further. They'll challenge you. They'll support you, but they'll never ask you to shrink. If someone can't handle your growth, they were only meant for your past. You also have to understand this. Some people came into your life to teach you something, not to stay forever. Their role in your journey was temporary, a season, a lesson. And when that season ends, you don't have to hold on with bitterness or anger. You can let go with love and gratitude for what they brought into your life, even if what they brought was pain. Because sometimes pain is the most powerful catalyst for growth. Growth requires solitude. It requires you to be still, to listen to yourself, to become self-awares. And it's in those moments of quiet, when no one's clapping, no one's watching, that real transformation happens. That's when you discover who you really are, what you really believe, and what you're really capable of. You can't do that when you're constantly surrounded by noise. You can't grow when you're constantly trying to be liked, understood, or validated. So ask yourself, are the people in your life growing with you, or are they growing resentful of your growth? Are you surrounded by energy that fuels you, or people who drain your ambition? The company you keep will either elevate your vision or slowly convince you to abandon it. And sometimes the hardest step forward is realizing that you've become too loyal to people who aren't loyal to your future. Let go of the need to be understood by everyone. Let go of the idea that you have to explain your transformation to those who are committed to misunderstanding you. Real growth doesn't beg for applause. It doesn't ask for permission. It just happens quietly, powerfully. And when it does, the people who are meant for you will feel that energy and find their way to your life. But the ones who don't, let them go. Release them with peace, not bitterness. And that's okay. Growth is yours. Own it. One of the most dangerous lies you'll ever believe is that you need to wait for the perfect moment. That somehow, someday, a magical alignment of circumstances will appear, a time when you're completely ready, fully confident, totally prepared, and life feels just right. That lie is what keeps millions of people stuck in their heads, stuck in their excuses, stuck in a version of themselves they've already outgrown. You don't need perfect conditions. You need a decision. Every day, people are walking around with dreams inside them, visions they talk about but never move toward. Not because they don't believe in them, but because they've convinced themselves it's not the right time. They say, I'll start when I feel more confident, when I've saved enough, when the fear goes away. But that fear, that hesitation, it never fully disappears. And time, it doesn't slow down so you can catch up. It moves. With or without you. The harsh truth is this: your dreams are dying in the waiting room called later. You weren't meant to sit in your ideas forever. At some point, you have to stand up and act. Even if you're scared, even if you're uncertain, even if everything in you is screaming for comfort. Clarity doesn't come from thinking, it comes from doing. Momentum is built through action, not imagination. You can plan all you want, visualize every step, research for months, but until you take that leap, You'll never know what's possible. People wait years for a feeling of readiness that never comes. They don't realize that readiness is a byproduct of movement, not a prerequisite for it. You look at people who've built powerful lives, those who broke through, who built something meaningful, and you think they were fearless. They weren't. They were just committed. Committed enough to move through the fear. They didn't wait for perfection. They started where they were with what they had and learned along the way. That's the secret most don't tell you. You grow into the version of yourself that can handle success by starting before you feel ready. Every excuse to delay sounds logical at first. You tell yourself you need more time, more education, more support, but deep down, you know the truth. You're not waiting on the right time. You're waiting to stop feeling afraid. You're waiting for the guarantee that it'll work. But life doesn't offer guarantees. It offers opportunities, and they expire. While you're waiting, someone else is starting. While you're perfecting the plan, someone else is building theirs. While you're doubting yourself, someone with less talent and more courage is passing you by. Perfectionism is often just fear in disguise. It's fear pretending to be noble. You're not refining the vision, you're avoiding the leap. And if you keep waiting for all the lights to turn green before you leave the house, you'll never leave. You learn by falling, you grow by failing, you rise by trying. That's the only real path. The rest is just a distraction wrapped in good intentions. You have to stop negotiating with your potential. Stop treating your dreams like they're optional. Because every time you put them off, you send a message to yourself that they're not urgent, that you can live another day without them, that comfort is worth more than fulfillment. And over time, that decision becomes your identity. You go from, I'm just waiting for the right time, to maybe this wasn't meant for me. And just like that, a life that was supposed to be extraordinary becomes average. Not because you weren't capable, because you didn't start. Let me be clear. The perfect moment is now. Not because everything is set up perfectly, but because you are here, breathing, capable of making a new choice. Start small if you have to, but start. Make the call, launch the idea, send the message, write the first page, take the class, do something that tells the universe, I'm not waiting anymore. You don't need all the answers. You need movement. Progress is what creates confidence, and confidence is what propels you forward. If you don't take ownership of your time, your dreams, your purpose, someone else will. And they'll gladly use your energy to build their vision while yours sits in silence. Don't let that happen. You're not here to wait. You're here to build, to become, to move. So stop waiting. The life you want doesn't need you to be perfect. It needs you to be brave. Your life doesn't change because your circumstances suddenly improve. It changes because you do. And it starts inside your head. Everything you are experiencing right now, your results, your patterns, your progress or lack of it, is a reflection of your mindset, not your potential, not your intelligence, not your talent. It's what you believe to be true about yourself, your limits, your worth, and what you think you deserve. That belief system is running your life, silently, powerfully, whether you're aware of it or not. Your mindset is the lens through which you interpret the world. It filters every opportunity, every setback, every conversation, every moment. And the problem is, most people are operating from a mindset that was built by other people, parents, teachers, society, past failures. They're living by rules they never chose. And because of that, they keep repeating the same patterns, asking, why does this keep happening to me? But the truth is, nothing changes outside of you until something changes inside of you. Your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. If deep down, you believe you're not worthy of success, you'll sabotage it the moment it comes close. If you believe people can't be trusted, you'll unconsciously push away real connection. If you believe you'll always fail, you'll hesitate in every opportunity and call it being careful. And slowly, you build a life that matches your beliefs, not your potential. Your beliefs are the ceiling on your life. They either limit you or they liberate you. So the question is, what are you allowing to run the script of your life? Are you letting old stories and outdated fears make decisions for your future? Are you repeating someone else's limitations? Because until you challenge that internal narrative, you'll keep experiencing the same limitations on the outside. The most dangerous prison is the one you don't even realize you're in. The mental one, the one where you say, that's just who I am, or it's always been this way, or people like me don't succeed. Those are not facts. They're programs. And the good news, programs can be rewritten. Your mind is powerful. It's either working for you or against you, depending on how you train it. Just like your body needs to be fed, strengthened, and exercised, so does your mindset. If you leave it unattended, it will default to survival, fear, self-doubt, and scarcity. But when you consciously feed it the right input, vision, discipline, gratitude, growth, it begins to operate from a place of strength. And when your mind is strong, your life reflects it. Everything starts with what you choose to focus on. Because whatever you focus on, you feel. If you constantly focus on what's missing, what's broken, or what might go wrong, your nervous system will live in a state of stress. You'll talk yourself out of everything that could transform you. But if you train yourself to focus on what's possible, what's within your control, and what you can create, you begin to build momentum. That momentum compounds. And with enough momentum, even the most difficult situations start to shift. You don't need a perfect past to build a powerful future. You just need to change the meaning you give to what you've lived through. Because your brain is always asking one question: what does this mean? And the meaning you assign determines the action you take. You can choose to look at a failure and say, this means I'm not good enough. Or you can say, this means I'm learning. Same event, different meaning, entirely different trajectory. It's not about pretending everything is positive. It's about taking control of how you respond. That's what mindset really is. Not wishful thinking, but intentional thinking. It's looking at your circumstances and asking, what can I build with this? Instead of, why is this happening to me? It's the discipline to notice your thoughts, question them, and reframe them into something that serves you instead of something that limits you. Your mindset is your foundation. If it's weak, everything you build will crack under pressure. But if it's strong, if it's trained, if it's intentional, there's nothing you can't grow through. No obstacle too big, no dream too far. It all starts with what you believe is possible. Because in the end, the most powerful thing you'll ever create is not a business, a relationship, or a goal. It's a mindset that is unshakable. One that bends reality in your favor. One that sees every challenge as fuel. One that says, no matter what happens, I will find a way. That mindset, it doesn't just shape your reality, it creates it. Most people spend their entire lives running from pain. They numb it, avoid it, ignore it, or distract themselves from feeling it. But what they don't understand is that pain isn't here to destroy you, it's here to teach you. It's not the enemy, it's the messenger. And if you keep silencing that messenger, you'll keep missing the lesson that could have set you free. Pain is a signal. It's your body, your mind, your soul trying to tell you something is out of alignment. Something is broken. Something needs to change. But because we're taught to fear pain, we interpret it as punishment. We think, why is this happening to me? Instead of asking, what is this trying to reveal in me? And the problem with that mindset is that you start resenting the very thing that was meant to help you evolve. Some of your greatest breakthroughs will be born out of your darkest moments. Not because pain feels good, but because it reveals what comfort hides. When life is easy, you don't question much. You go on autopilot, you settle. But when pain hits, when you're betrayed, when you fail, when you lose something you thought you couldn't live without, it wakes you up. It grabs you by the soul and forces you to pay attention. That pain is feedback. It's not asking you to suffer, it's asking you to listen. Look back at your life. Think about the moments that changed you the most. I guarantee They weren't the easy ones. They were the ones that broke you open, the ones that stripped away your pride, shattered your illusions, and forced you to rebuild from the ground up. It was in those moments that you met your real strength, not the strength that shows up when everything is working, but the strength that appears when everything is falling apart and you still choose to rise. Pain humbles you. It strips away the noise and shows you what actually matters. It reveals the fake friends, the weak habits, the broken beliefs. It exposes the areas where you've been lying to yourself. It's not here to destroy your life, it's here to realign it. But if you avoid pain, you avoid the truth. And if you avoid the truth, you delay your transformation. What most people don't realize is that the pain they try to escape becomes the prison they live in. The unhealed wound becomes the pattern. The disappointment becomes the wall. And without even knowing it, they start building a life based on avoidance, avoiding failure, avoiding rejection, avoiding discomfort. But growth doesn't live in safety. It lives in the places you're afraid to go. It lives in the parts of your story you've tried to bury. Healing doesn't happen by pretending you're fine. It happens when you stop running from the pain and finally face it. When you sit with it. When you ask it what it's here to teach you. When you stop labeling it as bad and start seeing it as necessary. Because pain has depth. It has wisdom. It carves out space in you that joy alone could never reach. Every scar you carry tells a story. Not of weakness, but of survival, of rising when you had every reason to quit, of learning to trust yourself when the world gave you none, of finding purpose in the ashes. That's not something to hide, that's something to honor. The world doesn't need more perfect people pretending to have it all together. It needs people who have walked through the fire and came out on the other side with compassion, clarity, and conviction. You are not broken because you've been hurt. You are shaped by it, molded by it, strengthened by it, and once you stop resisting pain, it becomes your power. Because when you've walked through enough of it, you stop fearing it, you stop living small, you stop tiptoeing around your purpose, and you start stepping fully into who you were meant to become. Pain is not your punishment, it's your awakening. It's the moment you stop looking outside of yourself for the answers and start trusting that everything you need is already inside you, buried beneath the noise, the fear, the illusion. And the only way to access it is to go through the pain, not around it, through it. So instead of asking, how many of you, why am I going through this? Start asking, what is this trying to teach me? Because when you see pain not as a curse, but as a compass, you unlock a new level of strength, wisdom, and clarity that can never be taken from you. One of the most powerful and most difficult truths you'll ever have to accept is this: no one owes you anything. Not your family, not your friends, not your boss, not the world. It's not a cruel truth, it's a liberating one. Because the moment you stop waiting to be handed what you believe you deserve, you take back control. You stop waiting and you start building. You stop expecting and you start creating. It's easy to fall into the trap of entitlement. To believe that just because you've worked hard, life should reward you. That just because you've been kind, people should treat you well. That just because you want something badly, it should be yours. But life doesn't operate on emotion, it operates on value. You don't get what you wish for, you get what you become. And that's the real work. Becoming the kind of person who attracts results, who earns trust, who creates opportunities instead of waiting for them. The world doesn't care about your intentions. It responds to your standards. It responds to what you do consistently, not what you occasionally hope for. And the second you stop blaming the outside world for what you don't have, and you start asking yourself, what do I need to change? Who do I need to become? That's when your life begins to shift. So many people stay stuck because they're waiting to be picked, waiting to be validated, waiting for someone to discover them, believe in them, open a door for them. But here's the truth. No one is coming to rescue you. No one is coming to give you the green light. You've got to give yourself permission. You've got to become your own source of belief. Because the moment you put your worth in someone else's hands, you lose power. And the moment you reclaim it, everything changes. You have to be so valuable that the world can't ignore you. And that starts with how you see yourself. If you believe you don't bring anything to the table, you'll sit quietly, hoping someone notices you. But the minute you realize that when I show up, people are going to give you everything, you have to believe, you have to bring so that, but if you know your worth, if you've built yourself through discipline, through skill, through service, you won't need validation. You'll create your own lane. You'll bring so much to the table that people start adjusting their seats to sit with you. But none of that happens by accident. It happens through intention, through effort, through the daily decision to raise your standards, not just for what you accept from the world, but for what you accept from yourself. You don't build value by doing the bare minimum and hoping for maximum results. You build value by becoming consistent, excellent, dependable. You build value by mastering your craft, owning your mistakes, stretching your limits. And understand this, value doesn't always show up as talent. Sometimes value is your energy, your integrity, your mindset, your willingness to grow. Some of the most successful people in the world didn't start with massive skill. They started with hunger, with commitment, with the decision to outwork, outlearn, and outlast everyone around them. And over time, the world took notice, not because they demanded it, but because they earned it. Entitlement is the enemy of growth. It tells you that you deserve things you haven't worked for, that other people are lucky and you're left behind. But growth whispers a different message. It says, if you want more, become more. No one is coming to hand it to you. And that's not something to feel bitter about. It's something to feel empowered by. Because when you understand that it's all on you, you stop waiting, you stop hoping, you start moving. That's when things begin to shift. You start waking up with urgency. You stop making excuses. You stop pointing fingers. You stop saying, they should have helped me, and start saying, what can I build now? You stop saying, they didn't see my value, and start developing value that's undeniable. That mindset, that's the separator between people who wish for a better life and the ones who create one. So no, life doesn't owe you anything, but you owe it to yourself to show up fully, boldly, intentionally, to step into every room knowing that what you bring is real because you've earned it. And when you do that, when you stop waiting and start becoming, you'll stop chasing what you want and start attracting it.